for it, just to see what it was. And thousands of people had gathered, and it was so attractive and so well done. But the results of such programs uh, are not the same. By Srila Prabhupada's Leela Katha, and think about Prabhupada's Leela Katha, it was not just Radha Krishna Leela or Vrindavan Leela, but so many different uh, topics, starting with Bhagavad Gita, that's also Leela Katha, Krishna's coming uh, to speak to Arjun, to enlighten Arjun. That's also Leela Katha. Not that only uh, Ras Leela or Vrindavan Leela, but Prabhupada said a pure devotee doesn't reject even one drop of Srimad Bhagavatam. How Krishna is expanding as the Purusha avatars and creating the universe, how he's expanding material elements through um, the agency of Lord Brahma. That's also Leela Katha, his Leela of creation. So we should hear uh, all of these different topics uh, as given by Lord Brahma uh, through the Sampradaya system. The La Katas, Nrishinga, Tava Nrishinga Virinsha Gita. Um, unjust atarmi. Uh, then very easily I'll be able to cross over the ocean of material existence. And Prabhupada makes the nice comment that to figure out some means of spiritual realization, to speculate on something or to invent speculative explanations of things, that's difficult. But to simply repeat and or accept and repeat the instructions of the acharyas, that's easy. That's easy. Why should we take some hard method? Prabhupada said, like touching your nose by going around the back of your head. Why accept some hard method when the easy method is there? The easy method is just to accept. What is that? Uh, Anugranam, constantly describing, hearing from the right source and um, describing. Thank you. Thank you, Namrupa. Don't mute me. You have to unmute me also. Uh, unjust tatarmia nugrinas. Uh, so hearing and describing what we've received or as we receive things. Prabhupada mentions that the uh, hearing and chanting, one should chant the bona fide songs received from the disciplic succession, not something made up, not something invented, something that comes in the sampradaya, not even something that's coming from elsewhere. There's so many attractive songs. This is uh, discipline. The mm, yes, this is discipline. The as soldiers follow orders, they don't just do whatever seems to be a good idea. They follow orders. As students, don't just pick up any book, but they follow the book prescribed for the course. So the faithful devotees should hear from the bona fide acharyas and chant uh, the bona fide uh, mantras, bona fide songs received. Uh, it's a simple thing, uh, unjust. It's a simple thing. Just receive and transmit. Prabhupada said, don't add anything, don't subtract anything, don't change anything. This is our simple method. Then the result will be, an anugranan means describing by following or describing all the time. Anu means both things, following and always. Uh, what is that in Bhagavad Gita? Satatam kirtiyanto maha yatantas chadridhavrita. And we should be helping one another. This is the advantage of the association of devotees, that our tendency on account of material contamination since time immemorial is to vibrate something else, to be distracted by the material energy, to want to see something else, hear something else, chant something else, do something else, to be, what's the word, attracted by the illusory energy. That's the danger. Maya is always there, waiting to capture us. But the association of devotees gives the opportunity to keep us fixed on our goal. If travelers are traveling through the forest or through the desert one by one, they may get lost. But when they travel in a big group, then everything's easy. Just Shivananda Sen, he's taking all the devotees from Navadvip to Puri, and it's not on Highway 1, it's through so many difficult ways. But because he's leading the party very expertly, he knows the way, and because there's so many devotees all together, so it becomes a wonderful pilgrimage. It becomes a wonderful journey. So all together. So by traveling on the journey of human life in the association of devotees, then it becomes very easy. Amar, what is that? Ekaki Amar Nahi Pai Bolo Harinam Shankirtane. Mr. Galaxy Note 10 Plus, could you please use that microphone? Similarly, Venkat, thank you. So similarly, it becomes very easy when we travel in the association of devotees. The devotees will remind us of Krishna. The devotees will speak about Krishna. The devotees will want to hear about Krishna. The devotees will together serve Krishna. The parents will engage the children in devotional activities. If the children have the association of devotees, they'll also engage the parents in Krishna consciousness. So then the human life becomes very happy and durgani. Although the material existence is very difficult. Durga means material energy. Durga means a fort. It's very difficult to get free from a fort. Literally, Durga means tough going. Dur means difficult, and Ga means going. So, Durgani, very difficult material world. The attempts, Prahlad Maharaj says that the attempts to mitigate or remedy the miseries of material existence only wind up making them worse. Uh, we don't become happy by trying to uh, conquer the material energy or trying to adjust, trying to settle in very nicely. No, these Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, the miseries of material existence will always be upon us. And if we think that we're going to settle into a nice situation and enjoy here, then we're fools. It's not that because I have a nice car, a nice home, nice money, uh, nice family, then everything will be very good. No, there'll be so many troubles, guaranteed, and these among them, as the headlines: birth and death, disease and old age. Uh, and we should not waste the human form of life simply to try to enjoy uh, material happiness. Kama nendriya pritir, labo jiveta yamata. Jivasya tattva jigyasa, narto yaschaya karmavi. The human life is meant for cultivating Krishna consciousness by following in the footsteps of the acharyas, those who are completely freed from material contamination. Durgani te, guna vipramukta, completely freed from the contamination of passion and ignorance, even material goodness. Durgani te, padayugalaya, hangsa, sangha. By having hangsa sangha, the association of pure devotees, those who know the essence of life. Uh, Padayugalaya, who are absorbed in meditation on uh, Padayuga, the lotus feet of the Lord. That means not the Mayavadis. For the Mayavadis, uh, the lotus feet of the Lord are Maya, even if they worship sometimes the Krishna or other deities, they think these are just stepping stones to the impersonal Brahma. So those persons cannot become vipramukto. They become avishuddha buddhaya, uh, thinking themselves, vimuktamanina, thinking themselves liberated, vimukta manina, having the false pride of thinking, considering themselves liberated souls, but not perfectly liberated. Avishuddha buddhi, not pure in their consciousness. Why? Because they've neglected the lotus feet of the Lord. Patantyato, patantyadha, what is that? Yushmadangreha? Nadrita Yushmadangreha. Na adrita, because they haven't actually uh, surrendered themselves at the lotus feet of the Lord, because they haven't realized Krishna as the personality of Godhead, because they don't believe it. When Krishna says, Mata parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjay, my dear Dhananjay, there's nothing higher than me, they don't believe him. They think, no, there is something higher than you. We know that there's something higher. The impersonal Brahma is higher than you. You're just uh, mm, you are, what is that? Uh, a designated or mm, Saguna Brahma, your Brahma manifested in terms of the mode of goodness, but we want the pure Nirguna Brahma, which is the highest destination. So that means they don't accept what Krishna says. Mata parataram na anyat kinchid asti. There's nothing higher than me. There's nothing higher than me. As Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. You are the supreme Brahma. There's Brahma and Param Brahma. You're that Param Brahma. And Pavitra, you're completely pure and completely purifying. So one becomes freed from uh, guna sangha, the association of the material energy, by uh, the association of Krishna and the association of the devotees of Krishna. The devotees of Krishna are not different. The association of devotees is not different from Krishna's association. The devotees are always, Krishna is always in the heart of the devotees, and the devotees are always in Krishna's heart. They don't know anyone but him, so he doesn't know anyone but them. And therefore, by uh, keeping that Hamsa Sangha, the association of the uh, devotees who've dedicated their lives to Krishna's service, one becomes vipramukta, completely freed. Liberation is not just some speculative concept, but it actually means returning, just as uh, people get this virus, and then uh, if they're fortunate, they recover, and the symptoms of the virus go away, and then they can breathe again, and they can walk again, and they can do everything again. So now we're in a crippled condition, a diseased condition. We can't actually achieve happiness in this uh, compromised situation, with bodies made of material senses, with impure minds, with short lifetimes, and so many troubles. What enjoyment will we actually have? It's a lost cause. The only enjoyment we'll get is illusory enjoyment. Oh, this is so nice. A Maya will cover us, and we'll think, yes, now I'm enjoying. By becoming fools, we can imagine, yes, now I'm enjoying. But uh, by good fortune, when one actually becomes uh, purified, one gets completely freed. Sagunan samati chaitan, brahmabhuyaya kopate, mam chayo bhyavacharena, bhakti yogena sevate, sagunan samati chaitan, brahmabhuyaya kopate. By abhyavicharani bhakti, unmixed devotional service, not mixed with karma kanda, not mixed with gana kanda, not hedging our bets, worshiping Krishna, worshiping this demigod also, that demigod also, not by uh, thinking that something else will be better than devotional service, something needs to be added, or something needs to be uh, taken away, not accepted, because it will be an impediment to my happiness. No, let me accept everything. Mam ekam sharanam. I just accept the shelter of Krishna. And as Arjuna says, Sarvame tadritam manye yanmam vadasi. Whatever you've said, I accept it completely. Sarva, sarvame tad ritam manye. I think that everything you've said is true. Yanmam vadasi Keshava. O Keshava, everything you've said is true. I accept it. Not picking and choosing. I like this part, I don't like that part. I like the part that talks about this, but I don't like the part that talks about that. Uh, the part that discourages me in my material advancement, that I don't want to hear about. Let me just hear nice Lila Kata, where there's all sorts of pleasant things, but I don't want to hear about uh, anything impinging on my false picture of myself. No, just like this Prahlad Charitra, it's a wonderful story how Prahlad is such a wonderful boy, how he instructs his friends, how he challenges his father, how Lord Nrsingadev saves him, and how the Lord gives him all benedictions. But it's not just the storyline. But within this history, there's so many valuable instructions. Prahlad Maharaj is not holding back when he instructs his friends, when he prays to the Lord. His instructions are full of valuable realization about the nature of this material world, about the nature of conditioned life, about the nature of devotional service, about the nature of the Lord. So these are meant for us to appreciate, not just the storyline, but the understandings that Shukadev Goswami is transmitting to Parikshit Maharaj in the context of the story, and which Prahlad Maharaj himself is transmitting, which Narad Muni is giving to Prahlad. So these things we have to understand. And of course we'll appreciate everything, the wonderful nature of the history, the wonderful nature of the instructions. And when we hear it in the disciplic line, then it has power. When we hear from the Mayavadis, when we hear from the professional reciters, when we hear from others, it may be attractive, it may be sweet, it may be so nicely presented, but it will not have potency. It will not free us from material existence. It will not enable us to free our hearts from material contamination. But when we hear in the line of the acharyas, and when we take up their instructions on pure devotional service, then our whole life can change. Then our whole life can change. Even the most contaminated persons, Kiratu Hunandra Palinda Pulkasha, Abhira Shambha, Yavana Kashadaya, Nye Nye Chapapa Yadapashraya Shraya, Shudyanti, Tasmai Prabhavishnave. Even the barbarians, even the uncivilized people can become purified by taking shelter of one who's taken shelter of Krishna. So this is our method. Lord Brahma is giving this process, and it's coming down from him in disciplic line, down through Srila Prabhupada, down to us, and we should take it and distribute it to others. That also Prahlad Maharaj says. Tad virya gayana mahamrita magna chitta shochetato vimukacheta sa indriyarta maya sukaya paramutvahato vimudha. I'm not worried about the Vaitarani, the material existence, because I can chant your glories. But shochetato vimukacheta sa. I'm simply distressed by those who've turned their face away from you. And what have they turned toward? Indriyarta. They're looking for meaning, for happiness in the satisfaction of their senses. And to that end, they've created a humbug civilization for false happiness. Maya Sukaya Paramudvato Vimudha. They're great fools, but the devotees in the who follow Prahlad Maharaj are compassionate for these fools and want to uplift them, want to bring them to the lotus feet of the Lord, so that they also can become completely uncontaminated. They also can be liberated from material existence. They also can be restored to their normal, healthy condition. And the method is easy, that we've heard. Unjust Dharmi, unjust Dharmi. I shall get free from material existence easily. I'll cross the material existence easily by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, maybe I'll stop here and see what kind of questions there might be. And if you have any question, you can unmute your microphone, even turn on your video, and let's see what happens. No comments, no questions. Okay. Oh.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandot Pranam. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. My question is, you mentioned about taking information in terms of, kirtan or bhajans from a bona fide party, and we have the Vaishnava songs booklet, which is one of the bona fide things. What are the other information, other areas we can venture out to look for artifacts or music or bhajans to enhance our Krishna consciousness?
Why do you want to venture out to look for more?
Sometimes, Maharaj, when a new devotees come, there is that element of enthusiasm. We don't know whether they are bona fide or not. Maybe they are, but we don't have a place to go to check it out. So the question to you, Maharaj.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My question to you, Maharaj, is they sometimes bring, it's essentially to encourage, to bring them into Krishna consciousness. That's the motivation, Maharaj.
Bring them to Krishna consciousness means bring them to what we're doing. It's not that we want to encourage them by saying, yes, bring all your baggage, whatever you picked up here and there and everywhere, bring that, and we encourage you. No. Just like yes, it's not that we encourage you, whatever mantras you've learned, whatever. No, sampradaya vihina ye mantraste nishpalamata. It won't really have any effect. So that's all right. You've learned some mantra, but here's what we've learned. We have the bona fide songs received from the acharyas. We have the songs of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We have especially Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is enough to engage us. We don't need novelty. We don't need something new. Always something new. We need to deeply enter into these things and appreciate them. That will help us. Otherwise, something new, something attractive, something, this, that won't help us. We should hear We should accept what we've received and not mix it.
Mm-hmm.
Not mix it. That mixing process then adulterates the thing that we received. Then it becomes something else. Then it becomes something else. Then it's no longer pure, then it's adulterated. But Prabhupada said a little bit of a pure thing is worth heaps of adulterated things. So that is, yeah, whoever, like Ram Hanuman, if you would turn your microphone off, Prabhu, would be very good. Thank you. Now, what was it?
Could say the original and not adulterated, you're saying, Maharaj.
Yeah, so I was thinking something more. Let me just think a bit. Yeah, keeping things pure that's quite, if you're looking for a challenge, keeping the thing pure is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a tendency to add something, to subtract something, to change something. This is the business of the mind. No, let's just do this. Why go on the straight road? We could go a little bit this way, a little bit that way. There's something over here. There's something over there. You haven't tried this. You haven't looked into that. You haven't tasted this. You haven't tasted that. The mind, that's what the mind wants us to do. And that's what the material energy also wants to do. Krishna says, Ekeha Kurunandana. Vyavasayatmika buddhi Ekeha Kurunandana. Bahushaka Yascha. Buddhiyo Vidyamana. Hema Jagannath, could you please? You're okay. Who else is doing that? Maybe it's yours.
Yeah, I think I got the answer to the question, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Okay, I've given a seminar on it. I think you've got two devices that are playing at once there. Okay. If there are two devices in your home at once, then they play to one another and cause confusion. One is enough.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes. Who's there?
Maharaj.
Yes.
See, when we are praising the Lord, other than the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is it right to follow? Because they are also the kirtans that is being written by someone, and it is being played by devotees who are not part of Iskcon. Is it okay to follow that? Because one of the devotees has actually guided me not to listen to that. So just asking, is it right to listen?
Very good. He's your friend. There's so many kirtans that are coming from here and there.
Right.
We don't know what they are. We don't know what the source is, but they're popular. So often they're chanted by the Mayavadis. They're invented by some other party. So just like you go to school, you focus, I gave the same example, you focus on the text, not let me see this book, let me see that book. Let me see what they're studying here, let me see what they're studying there. We have enough. What's coming down, this is school. We take what's given to us by the professor, by the acharya, and we focus on that. We don't say, well, what about this? What about that? Let me hear this also. Let me hear that also. No, you've gotten the right advice. Otherwise, we become jack of all trades, master of none. You know, little from here, little there, but we don't get the real point.
Thank you, Maharaj.
That's okay.
Thank you.
And I've heard, and we need to be, even I've seen, we have a book published by BBT, Songs of the Vaishnavacharyas. Then there's another book published, I don't know who published it, more songs of the Vaishnavacharyas. And then you read some of the songs, and you know, this one's Narottam Das Thakur, this one's Bhakti Vinod Thakur, this one is traditional Gujarati bhajan, this one is traditional Marathi bhajan. What is that traditional? That's not our stamp of approval that it's traditional. It just means it's been making the rounds. It's been going around for a long time, and it's popular. But our business is not what's popular. Our business is what's received from the reliable disciplic succession. That's, you know, just like medicine. Do you take what the doctor prescribes, or do you go to the drugstore and say, this looks good, that looks good, what about this, what about that? Wow, this one's marketed as being like ultra powerful. You don't go to the drugstore and say, give me the strongest thing you've got. You take your prescription and you ask for that your prescription be filled, and then you take that medicine. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, it answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I've given a seminar on this, a 3-day seminar in Mayapur a few months ago, called something like Kirtan Standards. I've heard that it's online or will be online soon. If you look for it on YouTube, you may find it. I haven't looked myself yet because it's
Sure, Prabhu. Sure, Maharaj.
yes,
Yeah, thank you.
It is there, Maharaj. On the
It's
Iskcon
there.
desert, it is there. Yeah.
oh, good. So those who want to hear more on this topic, but don't want me to talk for the next 3 days, can find it on YouTube.
Sure.
You may be astonished at some of the things that you find there. Okay. Are there other questions? Or you're going to let me off easy? These Prahlad's prayers are wonderful. These we can chant. If we're looking for something to chant, we don't have to go looking for, you know, what about this, what about that. These are all Kirtan, Lila Katha, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can chant also these prayers by Kunti Devi, prayers by Prahlad, prayers by Shukadev Goswami. Bhagavatam is full of prayers offered to the Lord. All of them have unlimited potency to purify the heart. So we can hear these topics, and that will be so valuable for us. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namasteja Stejase Avir Pava Vajranaka Vajradamstra Karmashayan Randaya Tamo Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Atmani Bhuyashta Om Kshram. Prayer to Lord Nishingadev. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna. This Hare Krishna mantra, actually it's said in Shastra that all the mantras and understandings, everything is there in these 16 words. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you have $100, then you don't go looking around and say, well, yeah, but I don't have $50. What about 25? What about this? What about that? Everything's there in your $100 note. So all of this, the purports of the Vedic wisdom are there in the Hare Krishna mantra. So the chanting of Hare Krishna should be emphasized always. We don't need so many mantras, so much novelty, this, that. Our main diet, our dal, rice, and chapatis is this Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then there are so many bona fide songs by the Vaishnavacharyas, especially Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Prabhupada's 2 songs composed when he arrived in America are so full of realization and instruction. Those songs will enlighten us, purify us, direct us. These songs picked up in the village were picked up from the cassettes and all of that. It's not the same. Even not the same. But Prabhupada, although materially speaking, he might not be considered the greatest musician or the greatest singer. He was elderly. He was not maybe the source you'd go to if you were looking for the most beautiful music. But his sound vibration has changed the hearts of thousands and thousands of people, has uplifted people even from the lowest background into the realm of pure devotional service to Krishna. So how much potency is in that sound? Rupa Goswami says, I don't know how much potency is there in these 2 syllables, Krishna. When I chant these names, I wish that I had thousands of ears and thousands of tongues to chant the holy name, because it dances in the courtyard of the heart. So that kind of experience we want. Ekeha Gurunandana, by faithfully following, by focusing on what we've received, by sharing it with others, by realization, by serving. That authentic experience of tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, to serve a devotee, to hear from a devotee, that will do everything. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna, or what is that?
Punya Sravana Kirtana.
Yes, but I'm thinking elsewhere. What is that? Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seva. By constant Bhagavat Seva, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, service to a devotee. By doing these things, Prabhupada gives his translation is by regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class. By regularly, as a regular daily function. We understand that we're not going to be sitting reading Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the day and night. We're not Maharaj Parikshit or Sukadev Goswami. But if we regularly, every day, anudinam, Rupa Goswami uses this word, anudinam, if we chant regularly every day, if we hear Bhagavatam regularly every day, if we render service regularly, then these wonderful effects will be there in our life, and our life can be successful. Anything else? Madhupati, shall we stop here, and do you have any announcements or directions or what have you?
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Go ahead, Prabhu. Sorry.
First of all, thank you, Guru Maharaj, for giving us this opportunity to hear about Krishna Katha. Lord Nrsimha's appearance day is right around the corner. So from that angle, this verse was very appropriate to lead us to that consciousness. So thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu.
Krishna Amanda Prabhu has some announcement.
Yes, Prabhu. 1 minute.